I'd like to introduce you to the man who built and is running this citadel of health and science, Dr. Uri Ben-Zur.
And who saved your life.
That's incidental.
How many people a year would you say die of heart disease?
It's not a question I've contemplated, but...
It's an amazing number of people. 17 million people around the world die of heart disease every year.
That's amazing.
And about 1 million people a year in the United States develop heart disease. 500,000 die suddenly. So their first symptom is sudden death. They never get a second chance, and they're done before getting to the hospital. So the good news is that most heart disease can be prevented. Our focus here is to try to prevent heart disease when we can. Sometimes we need to do procedures. Those procedures might include pacemaker implantation or stent implantation, and the people who taught me how to do those procedures are some of the founders of medicine. Seymour Furman, who invented the pacemaker, was my professor. Richard Schatz, who invented the stent, was my professor. And John Fisher, who was a pioneer in electrophysiology, was my professor.
Weren't you a professor yourself for a while?
I was an assistant professor at Einstein, thank you for mentioning that, in New York for several years, and then came out here. We were at a real crossroads in medicine, in the history of medicine, where we can affect people's lifespan and quality of life and really dramatically change how people live and how they function long term.